So when John asked me to come in and talk about videos, I figured the best thing to do was talk about search engines, less videos. So before we get started, a couple of questions I want to ask. How many of you use ask.com to run your searches?
Sometimes.
Yeah? Okay,
Oh my
one
gosh.
out of 20%. Okay, how many of you uses Bing to run your searches? Okay, a few more. How many of you use Google to run your searches? Well, guess what? Those search engines are far behind Google. Obviously, Ask and Bing. Google has by far, about 75-80% of the market share. Bing is creeping up, but they're not making much headway, even though Microsoft has invested a ton of money in that search engine. But in terms of what those search engines do, how they index content, how they present the results to the users, they all have different ways. They have algorithms in the background that all rank and rate and position and define content in a different way than the others, and in the hope of doing what? Presenting the best search results to you, the users who are searching on their engines. And so a lot of organizations, typically try to optimize for usually Google, because that's kind of where the bulk of the traffic is coming in. But at the same time, you can't forget about some of these other search engines that are out there, and they all use different tactics. But the one defining factor that all of them use to enhance search results is video. And if you see, Google has incorporated video search results in practically every search query that you run into, as has Bing, as has Ask, as has any of these other search engines out there. And so it's important to really recognize why these search engines are placing such a prominence on video. Why do you think that is? Why are search engines saying, hey, we got to place more video content on our search results page?
My guess is based on some of the statistics that John showed us. It seems like people perceive video as more relevant.
Okay, relevancy. What else?
More interactive.
More interactive, good, okay.
Ad dollars, you get a higher ad rate.
Guess what these search engine companies are in the business?
Making money.
Exactly, they're there to make money, right? Any which way they can make money, they're going to make money, right? And so you have to think about this as a business proposition for them. And how do they make money, right? The more people who come, run searches on their site, the better results they get. The more clicks they get, they're going to make money. And so search engines typically have multiple models of making money. I'll explain a few. One is when you run a search in Google, you get ads, both at the top and the site, right? So that's one form of making money. That's called search engine marketing, where it's a real-time auction process. So if you are an insurance company, for instance, and if you want to buy the keyword insurance, right? You're saying, I'm going to pay 50 cents to rank, number 3 on when someone types in insurance, right? Another company might say, I'm willing to pay $1 for that keyword, right? Guess what Google's going to do?
Give it the dollar.
No, not quite, right? Because their goal is, I want to present the best results to the user. Because if I present the best results to the user, guess what the user is going to do? You're going to click on the link, right? Google, Bing, Ask doesn't get paid until you click on the link. They don't make any money if you don't click on the link. So what helps drive the clicking of a link is the relevancy. Somebody mentioned relevancy over here, right? And so the relevancy comes about when on a number of different factors. So Google or Ask or Bing will index your site, the page that you're pointing to when you have these links from their ads, to determine whether your page is relevant to the user's search query. And if it is, then you get ranked higher a little bit, right? And so it's a bidding process. It's a very complex algorithm. Nobody really knows how it all works, except Google. It's a secret sauce, right? And they use that as a mechanism to make sure that the chances or the probability that a user will find the right set of links, clicks on them, goes through is good, right? Now, that we've talked about kind of the ads going on the top and the right-hand side of your typical search engine results. but there's a whole piece of results that fall right in the middle of the user's purview, right? When you're running a search for a query, how many of you actually click organic listings versus the ones that are advertised, the paid links? What percent? How many times do you
95%.
click on 95% on the ads or
Organic.
on the
On the organic.
I
organic?
never click on it.
100% organic.
100% organic. Okay. 100% organic.
Sometimes I click on the ad if it's the same as the organic result.
Okay.
Sometimes I
Okay.
Because you want to charge the
accidentally.
company.
I want to charge the company.
What was that? Oh, you want to hurt the company?
I was going to say, I click on the competitors' links a lot.
Yeah.
50 cents, 50 cents.
It's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, but it makes me feel
Good. Good. Devious.
Yeah.
You can watch them. But that's true, right? So a lot of us click on the organic stuff. You know, very few people click on this. Even though Google makes a lot of money on this, and they want to drive traffic over there, right? But Google also wants to make sure that they present the best results for you from an organic perspective. But Google has a different algorithm they use to determine which links get ranked here, because that's not how they really get paid, right? In some respects, they almost want the paid listings to become more prominent. That's why it's placed more prominently. They want people to click on those links more. So what you have to understand is, one, content is very important. You know, whether it's paid listings or organic listings, content is very important. Organic is more important because, like all of you, you've done a quick poll here. Typically, go in and click on the organic links. Very few people actually click on the paid links, right? And so, ways to enhance organic links. One way to enhance organic linkage is video, because it's now become very prominent, very prevalent. A lot of the search results are showing video links, and the chances that a user will click on a video link are higher because it's visual. You know, there's a nice little thumbnail icon over there. So previously, when you had text-based search results, you would typically see kind of like an F. If you did eye tracking studies, you see an F over there, because users will see the first listing, they'll go across, read what it's all about, and then it'll keep going on. So it's like a triangle over there. Nowadays, when you embed the video listings are embedded in the search results, that model has changed, because the first thing that catches your eye is all these thumbnails of videos or human beings or some kind of animation. That's where your eye goes. Then you go on to the text listings. So video listings are gaining more and more prominence. They're catching more eyeballs, and thereby you as an organization have to really think about, how important is video? Do I have videos? How many do I have? How relevant are they? Are they going to be of interest to my users? And at the end of the day, are users going to find them? Because today's day and age, practically everybody Googles it, right? So that's kind of the essence of what I'm going to talk about today, is how can you improve and how can you maximize the effectiveness of your video channel, of the videos that you have on your site, to make sure that it comes up in the search results. Because 99% of the users, whether you're B2B, B2C, are going to find your content much more prominently through the video channel than through simple text content. Okay, so very quickly about IronTake, the company that I founded about 4 years ago. We're a full-service interactive and digital marketing firm. We're based out of Bedford, Massachusetts. We provide mostly large organizations, but some entrepreneurial organizations as well, with helping them to navigate, plan, design, develop interactive programs. And we do that through a combination of strategic guidance, as well as user experience, usability, and of course engineering and technologies. And we primarily offer these are our solutions that we offer. There's 4 primary pillars that I would call web, mobile, search, and social media. I'm going to be talking obviously about search today. Just a list of some of our clients. If you have any questions about IronTake or what we do, or are interested in our services, by all means get in touch with me or John, and he can find John and he can direct the queries directly to me. So we talked about video, but let's talk about SEO. SEO, why is SEO important? Well, you get more traffic, right? There's something good about that. More traffic you get, what happens? You get hopefully more conversions, and you get more leads, which leads to increasing marketing ROI. So you want to really, it's a very simple equation, but as long as you can figure out how to make that equation work, it can be very effective, and video is one way to do it. What are the benefits of it? Well, there's a bunch of things you can get. You can improve market awareness. People can become more aware of your brand, become more aware of your products, your services, whatever it is that you're trying to get out there, your content on the website. And by increasing online visibility or growing the number of users online, you're going to basically increase that traffic coming to your site. The more people that find you, the more people you have going into the funnel, and ideally, hopefully your site is structured, or your mobile site is structured in a way that allows more folks to convert at the other end of the funnel. What are some factors that improve SEO? Website content. Good content leads to better SEO, right? And video is one form of content, but there's other forms of content as well. There's also other factors that help improve SEO, which is ranking and backlinking. So if you have more sites pointing to your site or content on your site, Google will ideally, or any search engine will rank your sites higher or your page content higher. And then user behavior. So for instance, if you go to Google and you run a search, how many times have you run a search, found a link, clicked on that link, gone to a site and said, that wasn't the right con. Click the back button. Guess what Google does? It remembers it, and it downgrades the page rank on your site, because it says the user, when I typed in this keyword and I showed my results, didn't really find this end target relevant, right? So I'm going to start, the more users who do that, guess what? The bigger the gap between that keyword and the content on your site. So I'm going to start putting your content lower and lower and lower in the search results. So you have to kind of start to think about Google knowing everything about the world and how users behave, and so that's one way by which they and their argument is that we're here to provide the best search experience and the best help users find the right content. And if your site doesn't have the right content, guess what? You're going to pay the price for it. So I wanted to just very quickly show an example of what SEO means. But before that, like we talked about, what Google is doing. They're in the process. They're a business. They want to make money, right? So they push a lot of folks to investing in paid search, the paid ads, right? And so a lot of organizations, Google is very, very helpful. To help you get started, they'll pick up the phone, they'll call you, they'll email you. It's all free of cost. They'll help you get set up on Google AdWords, which is their ad program, and they want you to spend money. So they'll send you free money. They'll send you $100 of AdWords. You've probably all got the memo from them to spend $100 of free AdWords, right? Because what their goal is, they want you to spend that money. And a lot of organizations take the bait, they'll spend the money, and every month they spend $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on AdWords, because they feel like, I'm not able to maximize the effectiveness of my organic results, so I'm going to pay this amount of money and get paid listing, right? And Google's happy to take that money, right? What you want to try to get out of is stop paying Google, right? Because if you can get organic results, which is where 99, 100, 98% of the people are clicking, well, guess what? That's what you want to optimize for. You don't want to pay Google money and be in this rat race. So, there's an online retailer. 95% of their traffic coming to their site was generated through PPC, the paid ads, and PPC stands for pay per click, right? So you pay per click. That's what it stands for. And so what happens is your margins get cut because you're paying so much money to get traffic into your site. So when you have low margin, you have high advertising costs, you're paying Google, you're also not able to measure the value of these ads, because when someone is searching for insurance, they may be searching for property insurance, auto insurance, casualty insurance. There's a bunch of different insurance. And if your company doesn't offer auto insurance, then guess what? They're going to go back, right? And so you have to, some of these links or ads and clicks that were coming in were just people who were had nothing to do with insurance, right? So what we helped them do was, looked at their pay-per-click campaign and kind of put a big on it, right? We helped them improve their search engine optimization. We looked at the web analytics, and as part of that, a lot of you kind of saw the funnel shifting the other way. The traffic went organic because they stopped spending so much on Google. Guess what? Their revenue and their margins went up. In this case, 45%. Right? And so, companies pay tons and thousands and millions, and in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars to, especially if they're brand organizations that have hundreds and millions of keywords. You're paying for each of those keywords, and people are clicking. Sometimes your competition is clicking on them. You're going to spend a lot of money, and so that's why I think SEO is so critical and so crucial in today's day and age. And you have to really make sure that your site is optimized for it. And video is a wonderful way to do that. Okay, so let's talk about how we can maximize this video. So when you think about video SEO, there's a few considerations, right? Think of it as an ongoing campaign. Don't say, I'm going to do my video SEO, I'm going to invest in this, I'm going to create some videos that have high production values, and I'm going to put it up there and let it do its magic, and I'm walking out, right? And expect it to pay dividends. This is not a program that you put a bunch of cash in and walk away from. This is something that you're going to have to invest in and recognize that you have to manage this as a program as opposed to a one-time project, right? And so some of the best practices that you want to think about are, what's the ROI? What's the project plan? What's my time frame for what I need to do? How much money am I going to invest in this? How much money am I going to get out of it? Those kind of basic, KPI measures are things you want to think about right at the outset, right? You also want to think about, benchmarking your current performance across search engines. So the reason I asked you about Google and Ask and Bing is because your particular audience, coming to your site might be coming using a search engine that you may not be optimizing for. So for instance, if you're a multinational company and you have operations in China and you have a huge market in China and you're not optimizing for Baidu, guess what's going to happen? Exactly, right? So part of this is just knowing who your audience is, where they're coming from, who they are, and the more you know about that, the more you can target your SEO, or in this case, video SEO tactics towards that. And a big part of that is investing in analytics tools, right? So the more you know about your audience through these analytics tools, whether it be free Google Analytics or paid or Omniture or one of these different tools, it's important to get that insight. So my suggestion is, before you say we're going to invest in video as a mechanism to be part of a marketing mix, don't forget to do your homework and say, who's our audience, what are they coming from, where are they coming from, what's their metrics, what devices are they coming from, are they using a tablet, are they using an iPad? Do that homework, then say, okay, here's how we're going to invest and make best use of your marketing dollars, right? So there's a few tactics I'm going to just walk you through. I have 3 slides to talk about different ways you can improve your site from a video perspective. So one is you want to incorporate related links, articles, blog posts, photos, audio, every type of content around your videos to build content. So if you have a video with great production values, right, and it's spot on, it meets the user's need, you test it and everybody loves the video. What you don't want to do is take a user to a page that has a video and then don't give them a path or an avenue to do something else, right? So it's about, every video needs to have a call to action. Every video needs to have content that surrounds it so that the user kind of, after they've finished watching the video or watching some portion of the video, very rarely do people tend to watch videos in their entirety, so you kind of have to recognize that. And so they'll start to lose interest a little bit, and they're starting to say, okay, what's that? What else is there around this stuff? Oh, there's a tech article, or there's a data sheet, or there's some kind of informational brochure that I can click on. There's a spotlight in here that is about a customer talking about the product that I've just watched a video on. So it's important to recognize that you can't just say, I'm going to put my video up there and expect it to do wonders for me. You really have to think about all the things that are hanging off of that video, because the search engine is going to look at what users do after they watch your video or halfway through the video, right? Because they want to know that a person who comes, watches a video, and clicks the back button ranks lower. They're going to rank them lower than a person who watches the video or watches some portion of it and then stays on the site and clicks around the site and gets into the site. Now your ranking's going up, right? So think about, how can I keep the user involved, engaged, embedded within the context of the assets or the site that I'm on. And that's a big part of why you need to do something like that. Right? The second one is ensure that contextual content is dynamically driven, right? So a lot of times you have pages, you go to a company video portal, you have a video there, and basically you'll have video that's playing, and then you see a bunch of spotlights, and then you go to another video, and it'll have the same spotlight, and you go to another video, and it'll have the same spotlight, same content, right? And what that means is that there's no contextual connection between the content that the user is watching and any of the content that surrounds it, right? So again, if you don't have good content surrounding the video, your page is going to start behaving in a way that's not effective. Community features, that's standard stuff. You want to have features that allow people to discuss, allow people to talk, allow people to incorporate some of the basic stuff, but a lot of sites don't allow users to comment on videos. They kind of shut it off. They say, nope, we don't want you commenting on videos. Go to YouTube to comment on the videos, right? And to me, you're really not fostering that community, right? Because that's what keeps people engaged, coming back again and again and again to your sites, because they feel like they can engage, that their voice is heard, and have a discussion in that comments thread with other interested viewers. So community features that allow you to drive traffic and retain them are important, because people might come to a video page, they might write a comment, and then come back 2 days later to see if anybody responded to that, right? More people coming to the page, guess what happens? Your ranks are going to go up. So again, these are some of the tactics. Another thing is prominently positioning, get link, grab code, standard stuff that allow your video to get out there, right? Get out there. And then ensure that these links point back to pages you have optimized. So if you have links that have that are either from your video page off to other pages on your site, make sure you have backlinks following back from any of those external assets back into your video page. We talked about why link building is so important. Here are some tactics that might be helpful for you to consider from a link building perspective. Obviously, the more inbound links you have, does everybody know what inbound links are? Well, inbound links are basically, if you have a page and that page has a link from some other site, right? If there's a link from some other site, some external asset pointing to that particular page, that's an inbound link to your site. So basically, the more inbound links you have pointing to your site, Google or any search engine is going to rank you higher, right? More because they think that, the content on here in the site is very relevant to a lot of different people, so therefore I'm going to create some weight, add more weight to that. So some of these things are pretty basic. Choose short and compelling titles. Sometimes you go to a video page and there's like 3 paragraphs of titles for that video, and nobody's going to read that. Right? Nobody's going to. People are, there's a big video. They're going to click the play button and want to watch the video. So it's important to kind of grab the user's attention, make sure they understand exactly what's in that video, and make it pertinent, because search engines will look at the text of the title of the video and use that as a basis to decide and determine whether it meets the criteria, the keyword that the user typed in when they ran the search. Right? So that's an important part. Some of these are, again, viral activities, which is making it easy for users to embed code. So sometimes you'll see the various tools on these videos. You can pick the embed code, stick it in some page, and the entire video will be within the context of that page. Everybody understands what embed codes are, right? So make it easy for folks to do that. That's the way your videos are going to go viral. Somebody is going to put your code or your video on their blog. Allow social bookmarking. I talked about commentary to comments and ratings. Are folks familiar with RSS feeds and MRSS feeds? So these are different mechanisms, again, that allow search engines to optimize and find content on your site. So things like video sitemaps allow them to index the content. And so if you create a sitemap for your site, which indexes all the other content, if you create a video sitemap for your site, there's specific attributes you can add to your video sitemap that search engines will index and determine whether your video should be placed more prominently than your competitor's video. So think about creating a video sitemap. And then there are just some best practices in terms of building your pages. H1 tags. So make sure your video title is in an H1 tag. Make sure it has meta descriptions, meta keywords, some of the stuff that you do from a search engine perspective for your HTML pages. Make sure you do it for your video page as well. There's no reason you shouldn't do it. There's also things that you can do from a video perspective itself. So one is video navigation. So typically, when you go to YouTube, you finish watching a video, you get a bunch of thumbnails inside that says, watch a bunch of other videos, right? But many organizations, you'll watch the video and then it'll end, and it'll end. Right? There's no other content that's related. So within your video, make sure you have navigation that allows users to find other interesting content that may be video or they may not be videos. But don't leave them just, you watch the video, thank you very much, see you tomorrow. They're going to exit. That's not a very good way to do that. You have, another thing is having unique URLs for videos. So sometimes if you have, especially because of the prominence of videos in search results, if you have unique strings, URLs that says insurance, auto insurance for people under 40, right? Google will index that. Google will look at, or any search engine for the matter, will look at the URL to determine if that's a factor that aligns with the search term that the user has searched on. So make sure you do that. Minimize usage of pop-ups. There's no reason why you want to put your video on a separate window or a separate pop-up or an on-page overlay, because guess what? The search engines won't find them. Search engines have a hard time with JavaScript and pop-ups and trying to index content that's hidden behind or ahead of a page. And so you want to make it easy. If you want to make it easy for people to find your content, well, make it easy for the search engine to find your content. There's one criteria I always say when people are optimizing their site, or in this case, video pages for search engines, which is think of a search engine as the blind person in the room, because that's all they're looking at. Search engines don't see the humanity, they don't see the production values, they don't see all of it. All they see is what a blind person sees, which is your anchor tags, your titles, the audio in there. So you have to, when you optimize your videos, make sure you're optimizing it for the world's biggest blind person, Google. It's true. It's true, because that's the way the search engines are. They're dumb in some respects, and they don't care about the production values. And so you want to, your users will, absolutely, your audience will, but in order for the search engine to find that content, you have to make sure you have the right title tags, you have to make sure you have meta keywords, the backlinks are in place, there's good content around it, there's video thumbnails in there, there's video navigation. Those are the things that the search engine looks at. So if you want your video content to go viral, if you want your video content to rank higher, if you want more people to find your video content, if you want to drive more traffic to your site through video content, follow these practices, because that's the way to a large number of users are going to find your content and look at them. And there's a lot more research out there. You guys can look at it. I hope this was helpful.
Thank you.